Lumos. You know that memory that Harry always experiences when the Dementor gets close? The one where he hears his mother screaming her last moments, and then he feels nothing and passes out? What if that wasn't his memory? What if that is the final memory of the piece of soul that Voldemort left on Harry the night that he attacked the Potters? What if it's Voldemort's final memory of that moment, but since it's the last memory that that piece of soul has from Voldemort, it's the only experience that it can reenact. But at the same time, it also is Harry's worst memory. So let's talk about whose memory it is and why it's most likely Voldemort's worst memory that he experiences with the Dementors and not his own. So first off, let's talk about Dementors. Dementors feed off emotion. Good emotion, bad emotion. But usually they try to feed off of good emotion and leave you with only your worst moments. We see when the Dementor attacks Harry and the gang on the Hogwarts Express. Ginny's there, Neville's there. Both of them have gone through horrible events. We don't know exactly if Neville was there when his parents were attacked. It's safe to assume they may have been. He goes white with the Dementors. So does Ginny. Ginny has the scarring experience from the year before where she was taken advantage of by Tom Riddle and almost died. And who knows how much she remembers from that. But Harry has a different reaction. He has a memory that expands, where most people just kind of feel cold, clammy, and kind of just shrink back. Harry has a moment. He hears his mother screaming. He hears his father yelling. He hears the cold laughter of Voldemort. But why? There's this theory that's always been pervasive in the Harry Potter universe. The Dementors love Harry because he's got that fat, juicy soul, because he's got not just one soul, but he's got 1 in a 7th. 1 in an extra piece. I'm not going to say a 7th, but he's got one whole soul and then just a little bit extra. And that may be the reason, but we're not here to talk about that. It could also just be because now not only does he have all of his trauma throughout his life, living with the Dursleys, having his parents killed at an early age, just enough that he kind of remembers, maybe, but he also has all of the trauma that Tom Riddle went through, also as a young orphan. He's got 2 orphans of trauma built up within him. Of course he's going to react so viscerally. He can't handle it. It's a lot. It's so much. But maybe that's just it. Maybe it's just he's got so much trauma, that's why he reacts. End of theory. But why that memory? Why the memory of his parents dying? Yes, it's a rough memory for him. But you know who else it's a rough memory for? Tom Marvolo Riddle. Before this, we only really see Harry dream about this moment. When he's unconscious, he hears a laugh and then sees a flash of green light. And that's usually the dream. But what if that is the piece of soul within him's final memory? Let's go a little bit deeper and let's talk about just the story of that night in Godric's Hollow. We see it in Deathly Hallows, and we hear about it a little bit more in Goblet of Fire when Voldemort returns. So in Deathly Hallows, we see from Voldemort's point of view that night. He comes in, he sees James, and he goes, "Ha, that silly fool. Doesn't even have his wand on him. Die, he's dead. Isn't even able to put up a fight." Then he gets to Lily. He says, "Move aside, you silly girl. You don't have to die." It's a pivotal point to why this all happens. You don't have to die. Just let me kill Harry. The fact that he gives Lily the choice is what puts this on the path that it goes on. If he had just killed Lily and then killed Harry, none of this would have happened. It was the fact that he gave her the choice. But by the by, that's not why we're here. He gives her the choice. He goes up to little Harry and says, Avada Kedavra. And the next thing that happens is pain. Endless pain. He talks about it in Goblet of Fire. He says, this was the worst pain that I have ever felt. I was less than the meanest ghost. It was the worst moment for him because he was weak and vulnerable. Most likely, his worst memory, it was the moment he lost. So, why is that key? Before we answer that question, let's talk a little bit more about the Horcruxes, because that's what happens. Harry becomes the 7th accidental Horcrux. Voldemort got his way. He became the most powerful with 7, but at the same time became the weakest he has ever been. So, we've seen how Horcruxes react in different ways. We see how the diary reacts as Ginny feeds the diary by putting in her emotions, her memories, her thoughts, her needs, her wants. She feeds it. And in that, it gains power. It becomes almost corporeal. It saps the life